So let's continue with my series where I look at all of England's positions, what options do they have based on international performances and Premiership performances and Champions Cup and all of that. And we were always going to come to fly half, the most contentious position. My headline is, I don't think it is that contentious actually, so I'm going to go through what I think is the options. There's some obvious options, but also let's look at all the other options that England could go for if those main guys aren't available for whatever reason. Of course, what makes a good fly half or a great fly half has loads of different factors to it. You've got the skills, the passing, the kicking, the tackling, the running, you've got physicality, you've got psychology, you've got how they fit in with how the team wants to play. But first of all, let's go through England's three main options at the moment, and I think it's pretty clear. You've got Finn Smith, Marcus Smith and George Ford as the three main men in that order, and I don't think that's overly contentious. Finn Smith's come in and shown that he can run a game probably better than Marcus Smith. George Ford can run a game great, but he's that bit older, of course. So Finn Smith, Marcus Smith, George Ford in any sort of combination is going to be pretty decent, but it does look like Finn Smith, he's the main man at the moment. Why is that? Well, I think psychology-wise, he's very steady. He's a dead-eye with the goal kicking. He's a dead-eye kicking to touch, which is a big thing. Penalties are massive, and if you can get good distance on your touch kicks, that's pretty good. A reliable goal kicker is a really important thing as well, and he's great at playing in the face of the defence, picking options, similar to what George Ford does. What he probably has above the other two in those top three is his tackling. He will dip down and smash in the tackle, where the other two don't really. Marcus Smith goes low, but can miss a few, isn't a dominant tackler, and George Ford has decided he always goes high and kind of soaks up, so he's just going to hold someone up for a little bit, and in the best case scenario, maybe rip the ball, but he will get blasted through or get caught for high tackles sometimes, because he's decided, along with his coaches, to stand bolt upright. I'm not going to go into that sort of tackle, because I really don't like it, and I've talked about it loads before, but he's one of those guys that just stands upright when he tackles. So Finn Smith is the best tackler, I think that's pretty clear. I think he's very good at kicking to touch. George Ford's also very good. And I think Finn Smith probably has slightly the best range as well on the kicks. I wouldn't say he's absolutely massive, but I think the combination of skills are very competent, plus the psychological aspect. He seems very steady. You know, he's still a dominant player, as in he talks, he shouts, he organises, but he's not overdoing it. He's not kind of going over the top. He's pretty cool customer. And I think he is the number one. Plus, you add in that 22-year-old age bracket. He's the youngest of the lot. So if you want to build your team around a player, it probably makes sense to build it around Finn Smith at the moment. But Marcus Smith is still a very good player. At 26 years old, he sits in the middle of the ages. So you've got this nice spread of ages there. And what has he got that the other two don't? Well, it's his running game. Nice and simple. He is the quickest of the lot. He's got a wicked sidestep, which means he can operate wider out, potentially at 15. You know, he's not an ideal 15 in many ways, but he's a really good counter-attacker. He can make things happen, so that's a good thing. And I think I should say as well, Finn Smith maybe in the future could operate at 12. If you wanted to go Marcus Smith 10, Finn Smith 12, you could do it. I'm not sure it's the best idea, but Finn Smith being a bit more robust, it could happen. And when we talk about that running game, Marcus Smith has added on some power with some physical training, and his speed over a long distance is improved. So running game wise, he's right up there with one of the best running 10s in the world. His kicking in general is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's maybe quite as good as the other two, but I still think it's perfectly passable to be the main kicker. He's had some off days, but then everyone does as well. Now, occasionally there can be some downsides to Marcus Smith. Absolutely, he can miss some tackles, which is true, but 10s, they're not always big tacklers. You look at Sam Prendergast, he's not the best tackler either. So if he's operating at 15, I think that does become a bit more of an issue, but I'm seeing as a 10, the number 210 to Finn Smith. Now, psychological wise, certainly in the past, maybe he has been a bit too neurotic, maybe a bit too over the top sometimes, but he's definitely calming down and learning his craft, but he's definitely an energizer as well, and you want both of that, but maybe not the absolute cool head that maybe a Finn Smith or a George Ford is. And talking of George Ford, he can still do a great job. His skills are spot on. Physically, he's not the biggest, absolutely. He can make some breaks, but he's not really there to make breaks, but he'll make great options, put little chip kicks in, lovely passes. He'll make an attack run, and he's a good mentor there for the others. So I think those three, absolutely, they're three good options. So I don't think it's a case of Marcus Smith isn't good enough to play England 10. I think he's just a different option from the three. Owen Farrell is the fourth asterisk there. He's obviously not available at the moment unless he comes back to England, which he may not. So I'm just putting him there as he could be an option in the future, and he would be in those four, I guess, as guys you could just slot into the England team, but at the moment obviously cannot play. And before we talk about some of the other options that England have at fly half, maybe some of the future options, just a note again that the testosterone testing kits, the 45% code, has been extended. RugbyAnalyst 45. Quite a few of you have taken me up on that, so that's really cool. Then you have your home test and you can see where your testosterone levels are at, which a lot of people are into these days. So I'll pop that on the screen so you can use that if you want to. Let's get into these other options. And that's the thing with England. There's no other options screaming to say, pick me now. But there are actually more interesting options than maybe first meets the eye. Going alphabetical order, currently we have Orlando Bailey at Bath. Now, he's behind Finn Russell, obviously, but physically, this guy has it, absolutely. He can play 15, probably better than Marcus Smith can play 15, actually. A very solid customer, over 6 foot, easily over 90 kilos. So physically, if you were going to design an international fly half, he would probably look a bit like Orlando Bailey. Some problems though, why maybe hasn't he broken through completely? Well, Finn Russell is obviously above him, which is a big problem, but kicking is an issue. His goal kicking, I think, when I've watched him, hasn't been that great. So if you wanted him playing fly half for England, you probably wouldn't want him goal kicking at the moment. Is that something he can improve drastically at 23 years old? It probably should be maybe a bit better. So I don't know, maybe he'll be a utility player, but he is there and he's very interesting, particularly physically. Then one guy for the future who I'll just mention but not go into too much is James Lineker. He's 18, played for England under 18s. We'll see him for the under 20s soon, I'm sure. Why is he there? Well, it's his absolute goal-kicking, dead-eye accuracy. He is a nice man. His skills look really good as well. He's very nippy, he's not massive, but he's the guy I'm kind of tipping for the future for maybe 4 or 5 years' time. He might come through because he's got that psychological edge. Absolutely dead-eye goal-kicking, which is so important. So just remember that name. Then on to two guys at Gloucester who are coming into their peak. We've got Charlie Atkinson and George Barton. Atkinson has been maybe the nearly man for a while, hasn't quite fully broken through into a regular starting spot. He was at Wasps, he was at Leicester, now he's gone to Gloucester to try and get that regular start, which he's going to need. I'm not 100% convinced he's got the all-round game, but he's very attacking, he's very exciting, he's played for the A-team. Goal-kicking wise, not too sure, so watch this space, but he needs starts to prove a point. Someone whose goal kicking is unbelievable, probably the best of the lot, is actually George Barton, who's been playing at 15 a lot for Gloucester, but is really a fly half, so could be an option going forward. He is 24 years old. Will he get starts at fly half, I guess, is the question. But if you want a player who can play 15, fly half, and a nerveless goal kicker, he could be the man. So let's say hypothetically you wanted to play an Orlando Bailey at fly half, then George Barton at 15 might be a good shout as well, but he's there and he is a fly half. Then let's talk about Harvey Skinner of Exeter, and more specifically Exeter fans, tell me about Harvey Skinner, because when I was watching him for Exeter I was thinking, okay, this guy's got potential as an England player. He's very tall, he's very rangy, he's very good running game. Goal kicking again, maybe you wouldn't have him as your go-to goal kicker, but then he kind of fell off a cliff at Exeter, just coming back into the team. What was it? Why wasn't he getting those starts? Was it injury? Was it something that happened? Obviously, we had the Simmons brothers. We had Joe Simmons at 10, and he kind of fell off a little bit, and he moved away from Exeter. So what's going on at Exeter there with their 10s? Harvey Skinner looked to be the man. Now he's not. 27 years old. Is his chance for England slipping by? Probably. We've got Jamie Shilcock as well at Leicester, who's a very competent all-round back. He plays fly half, he plays full-back, plays everywhere. Has he got any weaknesses? Not particularly that I see. Has he got any massive strengths? Maybe not particularly either, so that possibly is what would hold him back. George Furbank, I know is a 15, but can play 10 and play 10 very well. He'd actually be a decent option, but again, you'd want him playing regularly at 10. Then another youngster to keep an eye on, and again, he's going to need first team experience, but George Makepeace-Cubitt, I think he's been injured recently as well. He's got a good physical base. I think he's got the skills. He's got a good attacking base. I just need to see him more. So fans of him, Northampton fans, tell me about Makepeace-Cubitt. Is he the real deal? We did have Fergus Burke potentially available for England. I've got him as an asterisk there because he's kind of declared for Scotland. He's been in their squad, although he's not capped, so I guess he could come back and play for England. But do we need him? Well, I did want him capped as a fourth option, but has he shown he is an outstanding 10? Not sure yet. No signs that he is the man who has to come in. So if he did go to Scotland, I think it would be okay, but he's still one to keep an eye on, but I think that one has gone. Then finally finishing on another young fly half who moved from Newcastle to Saracens to try and get his career really kick-started. Hasn't quite happened yet, but he's got the skills, and many people say he is a really good fly half, but we will see. He needs to get some starts. So that's my take on all the fly half options as I see them for England, but let me know if I've missed any. I probably have. But those three guys, we've got three good options at the moment, haven't we? Ford, Smith and Smith. It's just what sort of player you want. Under it, it's a little light. We need some guys really coming through and saying, pick me. There's some potential there. Let me know which ones you would go for in the future and what you would do with the current fly half debate. Who should start, who should go where on the bench, etc. Love to know all your thoughts, as always, and I'll catch you next time.